Alright, hey everyone, welcome to another WRP Live Play TTRPG session. What is WRP? Well, that's me, Faye, Game Master and Storyteller, and Lachlan, our writer and producer. We're a couple who love sharing stories, so much so that we quit our day jobs and created our own company. That way we could create high quality and exciting TTRPG experiences full time. Share them with you. And tonight we're playing D&D. This session features D&D's Shadow of the Dragon Queen, a riveting adventure of courage and valor, where our intrepid heroes face unbeatable odds in a cataclysmic war. Nope. I need to fix cameras here in a second, but that's no worry. With us at the table are several of the incredible players who have joined us on our grand endeavor. If you'd like to play alongside them, you're more than welcome to join us as well. You can ask in chat or hop over to our Discord to find out more information. Now speaking of our awesome players, it's time for introductions. Like I said, I'm Faye, Game Master and Storyteller. With me is Sirenscape, bringing all of our background music, sound effects. It's a fantastic and affordable sound collection that you can find at Sirenscape.com. And now, let us meet our courageous, daring heroes while I do some tech setup. So, let's start off with an introduction for Vass.
Hi, I'm Caitlin, and I'm playing Bass. He is a devilishly handsome tiefling bard rogue who has found himself accidentally stumbling across the multiverse. This week's fun fact about Bass is his alcoholic beverage of choice is a nice spiced rum.
Hell yeah. We all like that. Alrighty, amazing. Next up for our introductions, let's learn about Hugh.
Hi, I'm Stefan. I'm playing Hugh DeVere, a flamboyant, flashy, fearsome, and possibly French fencer. Fun fact about Hugh is that his favorite alcoholic beverage is Sang de l'Avicère, which is a type of grape cultivated in Iverhold, at which they name as a joke.
Hell yeah, we love it. And then last but not least, why don't we learn about Rue?
Yes, let's. I am Frontboard, and I am bringing Rhubarb Bafflewander, aka Rue, to the table. He is 114 years young forest gnome sorcerer from the island of Sandcrest, specifically the forest of Sandcrest, way to the west of our setting. He likes the moons. He's likes trees and stuff. And I guess the fun fact would be that he also likes crescent rolls as his favorite pastry. Is crescent roll a pastry?
I would consider that a pastry, yeah.
Carb, bread? I don't know.
I would see that in a, could pronounce it in French years ago, but a pastry shop. Pastissiere, I believe.
Patisserie.
Yeah, that's the word.
Boulangerie et patisserie. Hey, patisserie.
Nice roller. Secondary. Oh, there it is. Alright, so, with our introductions, it's time for us to dive into our story. And we begin, of course, back on Kryn, in the continent of Ansalon, as you are in the northern wastelands. You're far from the Calamon army. Hopefully, you and your allies' paths will cross once again. But in the meantime, you scout ahead, handling all sorts of issues across this wasteland territory. But seemingly all threads have been neatly tied as you find your path towards Wakenrath, to meet with the elven scholar Dalamar, the one who will be able to help you figure out perhaps what it is not only the dragon army is looking for, but what you are looking for. This city of lost names. You made it a partial distance there before you had to take shelter for the night. But you did complete a long rest successfully. And as morning comes, you would notice that there is a shift in the air here. Roll for me survival checks, please.
That would be a critical success on a +5.
Bass, you're still waking up.
I am, yeah, totally.
I feel like I should find something for rolling a 25.
Oh, you're definitely going to find something here. That strangeness in the air. That is a shift. The low wash that you had traveled with for days now is coming to a change in this morning light. Hugh and Rue, you can tell in the distance the flash floods that are on their way. And so, you're not terribly low in the canyons, but you're not at the top either. We're going to roll an initiative here. I'll give Hugh and Rue advantage because they know, of course, what is happening.
That'd be a 16.
Alright. So, we are going to have it'll be Hugh, and then Vass, and then Rue, and well, Hugh, you see in the distance the flash flood waters coming quickly towards you and your group. You have perhaps a bit longer than if you had been camping lower down. But what would you like to do here?
Alright, there's a flash flood.
Yeah, the low waters are now becoming the high. So.
Well, I was preparing to... thinking I should prepare to climb out, but do I need to should I grab on to any of my companions who don't have my climbing is as good as walking skills?
It will, because you'd be pulling someone along that doesn't have that speed, it will drop your speed by half, just so that way you're aware mechanically.
Okay.
So.
Any of the who'd be in the most danger of being caught flat-footed and stuck here?
Well, Vass seems the more unaware of the situation. Is more reacting to Hugh and Rue's sort of actions here, rather than Rue, who seems to know what's happening and spotted in the distance.
Okay. So
Ash does have his snazzy boots, though.
yeah.
Oh.
Well, on the basis of Vass looking out of it, Hugh is going to grab him by the shoulders and start pulling him, and he's gonna, with his little spike boots and things, that he did for climbing, he's gonna get up those walls of the chasm, dragging Vass along with him.
Okay. So, easily enough to do, and because you have that climbing speed, it's not very much difficult. I'm not going to have you roll anything. And you begin that ascent up. And Vass, Hugh you're still trying to wake up, you're trying to put together everything. Hugh's taken hold of you, starts climbing up. What are you doing on your turn?
I'm very confused. I'm like half asleep and going like, what? Like, why are you dragging? What is happening? You're gonna like wrinkle my whole thing that I have going on. And then I'm assuming I would look down and see the waters coming.
I would say with the height that vast Hugh is able to get you to, yeah, you are starting to see some of the, not quite the rushing waters yet, but the distant foam and spray of it as it starts to move in.
Okay, so I will say thank you. I don't want to weigh you down though, so if you could let go, and then I will click my heels together and levitate up out of the.
Okay, so as you begin levitating up, Vass, Rue, your friends are. Hi.
No. I got this. How far up do I have to climb?
I would say the canyons here are quite deep. About 100 or so feet. And you're not all the way at the bottom. I'd say that you maybe were 40 feet down when you've camped. And so you've got 40 feet to get up to high ground.
Is climbing half speed?
Climbing is half speed if you don't have a climbing speed.
If I haste myself, then it would be full speed.
Pace doubles your speed and then you're having it down, so.
I see the water coming, and it's concerning, but not enough to feel like I need to haste just yet, I think. So, seeing the other two are going, Rue's going for it. He's channeling the vibes of like, well, I've climbed trees all my life. Like, clearly I can climb up out of this canyon too. I mean, it's just like the bark of a tree, right? Rock walls in the woods. So Rue's got to start climbing, albeit very slowly, with his 25-foot walking speed.
Okay. So as you begin to climb, the waters rush in. You can hear as they crash against the walls with intense speed. They move about 100 feet in these few seconds as it rushes by, rising up, and then 20 feet. Rue, you can see there's about 10 feet between you where you had climbed and these waters that rushed forward inwards. You can feel where the spray splashes against your feet and legs. But you're not caught up in the waves, not yet. Hugh, you're a little bit further than Rue. Vass has started lifting ahead of you. You can see the water again rushing in. What would you like to do here?
Well, I think I can keep on climbing, and if water gets too high, I can also swim, because I'm good at that too. Rangers, we break the game. So I'm just gonna keep on climbing.
Alright. And with your climb speed, you're able to easily reach the top before any of the waters hit you. Bass. It's your turn.
Yeah, so once the levitate spell is active, if I go higher on this turn, does it count as my movement, a bonus action, or an action? Like what is it?
I believe with Levitate you can use... It's either an action or a bonus action to lift something higher. So... Let me just double check on that real quick.
What I want to do is, but I don't know if I have enough action economy to do this, but I want to grab the 50 feet or whatever it is of hempen rope that I've strapped to the side of my backpack and drop it towards Rue so he can hold on to the rope if he needs to, because I'm looking down and seeing that my good pal Rue is getting awfully close to those waters.
So,
And then I want to navigate,
okay, so because you are the target of the spell technically, moving up or down is part of your movement. And then your action can be for getting the rope to Rue.
that's what I'll do.
So, Rue, you see a rope. I'm down for you. As it comes to your turn.
Yeah, I'm grabbing the rope.
Right. Are you climbing up the rope or are you just holding onto it?
I guess if I was climbing the wall, I would start climbing the rope too, because we probably climbed ropes when I was in the forest as well.
So as Rue, you are able to climb the rope a bit here, Vass having levitated up. You all manage to get out of the way just as the last of the waters rush through, reaching to the top of the canyon, spilling out over the ground. But a few seconds go by and the waters seem to settle and aren't those roaring, rushing waves as they were before. Hugh is able to grab Rue, and from there, Rue is able to pull the rope so Vass isn't directly over the water.
That's what I was wondering.
So you're all able
We're
to
just
kind of,
dangling in midair.
yeah, you're all able to kind of work together to get yourselves back on track to head towards Lake and Wrath. Which, as you all are heading out, I don't recall who made the last check for explorations, so we're just going to do a die roll to determine who's going to make it this time, because it's fun to roll dice. And Vass, why don't you roll me a d20, please?
Right? Ah, natural 20. What a waste of a natural 20.
All right, natural 20. These dice are setting up so many stories. And
No land sharks, please.
as you're walking, most everything is calm. Though, it would be Rue. As you're walking, you feel your foot step into something, and there's a splash. As you seem to find yourself having stepped into a tide pool.
Oh.
And you would notice that there is a body here. A skeleton. And it is filled with different sort of barnacles and crabs and other small fishes that have gotten caught in the tide pool.
Rue's gonna kind of gasp from stepping into the water first, and then yelp at seeing the skeleton and kind of hop back a little bit. Someone wasn't as lucky as we are. You guys see that?
You're all able to see the tide pool and the skeleton in it and all the little critters that are making it its home.
Big and deep is the tide pool.
It's a fairly wide tide pool, about maybe 6 feet wide, but it's not very deep. Maybe its deepest point would be about 2 feet.
Do we notice anything interesting about the or soul that is residing now forever at the bottom of that tide?
They seemed humanoid. Hard to tell for sure from a glance what heritage they may have been in life. Armor wasn't metal of any sort. It seems to be some sort of leather that's deteriorated, been eaten, salt encrusted. And there's just, you see all sorts of like skittering of like water spiders on the top. Bass probably doesn't like that, but there's also the crustaceans that are in there. They all seem to be fairly harmless creatures.
Vass was trying to lean over to get a view, but as soon as he saw the water spiders, he took a few hasty steps back and is just letting the others look if that's what they want to do.
Poor unfortunate soul. I mean, I'm curious, but I also don't want to really like disrupt this whole little ecosystem they got going on here. Like maybe that's the ways of the northern wastes.
We should let the spiders hunt whatever they want. We don't want to remove a keystone predator.
I don't know who the predator is in this ecosystem. It seems kind of self-contained.
Well, yeah, I mean, do you think there's something bigger that eats the spiders?
Maybe birds?
The crabs.
Yeah. So it looks like this stuff's been here a while. It didn't just wash in with this flash flood, right?
It may have gotten some new additions with the flash flood, but no, it seems that this is a tide pool that has existed. It doesn't seem to be new. You don't know how long it's existed, but it's existed.
Now I'm wondering if it's like a dead scout from Heart's Hollow or some other allied faction that we've stumbled across here. You said it's humanoid, not like dwarven or anything, right?
Seems to be a medium-sized humanoid, correct?
Any indication? Like, was there any like ways that you could recognize like a Heart's Hollow individual from like things they wore, like their scouts in particular?
No, they didn't seem to really have any sort of banding identifier. You either knew you were of Heart's Hollow, or you knew you were an outsider. They don't, again, seem very keen to advertise their existence.
Right.
Does it look like they perished with any possessions with them?
What you see here is really just the scrappy armor that is covering their bones. If they had other possessions, they may have been carried away with washes long since past.
It could be any of us. These lands seem difficult.
The rest of your travel continues on with ease. Nothing else happens. You keep your eye out for any more tide pools. Find a place to rest. And rest his head. So, you expended any spells or ability uses. Those are reset. And in the morning, you set off once more. And the waters remain high. But as you travel, you see ahead of you a pale stone tower that is jutting outwards from the rust-colored landscape. It is carved with the likenesses of 1,000 elven warriors. You can tell that the tower's lower levels are relatively intact, but as it climbs towards the 80-foot height, you see that the upper levels deteriorate. Rather than falling, however, the crumbling stone hangs in the air. The tower's disintegration frozen unnaturally. You see a rusty iron double door at the tower's base hangs ajar.
I take it this is the place that Dalamar wants to meet us at.
That sounds about right to me.
That's what the map's telling you.
Have you
All
ever
right.
seen stone just hanging in the air like that?
Well, we're about to see a wizard. The plot. It seems appropriate that we're going to be a tower that has weird properties.
I appreciate your logic, Hugh.
I'm excited to see our pal Dalamar again.
Well, you definitely notice that in the morning light, late morning, I would say it took you maybe 2 hours of travel, so almost midday. Dalamar is not outside. However, the doors are open, so perhaps he's already moved inwards. What do you do?
I'm nervous. Because the last time we entered his property without seeing him around or announcing ourselves or whatever, we got jumped by some water guardians. I think we just need to be careful that he hasn't left guardians here as well. Rue
Can we
starts
roll
looking
for
around.
sketchiness?
Say what?
Can we roll for sketchiness?
Go ahead, roll an insight check for a vibe check.
Sketchy check.
Yeah, we'll do a vibe check with insight.
Need to rename every single skill to like some other insight sketchiness now.
I mean, look, if
That's
someone comes up to me wanting to do a modern fantasy magic campaign, I will change that. Insight immediately becomes vibe check. I'll put in the work. You're of course thrown off by the fact that this crumbling tower is held unnaturally so. It should be destroyed, lying as heaps of stone on the ground. But it is not. Typically that is indicative of magic. Powerful magic. That stops time. Or holds many things aloft. Who knows what could be at play here, but as you're looking around, there doesn't seem to be much in the form of signs of any ambushes. You don't see any sort of shadows in places that aren't logically able to be explained. The only sort of eeriness, of course, is the doors left ajar, but given the state that they are rusted, perhaps if Dalamar did go in, he was unable to properly close them due to their age and condition.
If he's here, he's probably inside. I don't really want to go first.
That insight roll, did that include like looking if there was any traps, or would that be a separate check?
That would be an investigation check for that.
Well, I'm a rogue. I should occasionally do rogue things. Can I look for traps?
Yeah, go ahead, give me an investigation check on that.
Can I cast guidance on Vast to help him in his check?
Sure.
Is that a D4?
It's a D4, yeah.
That's a 15 total.
So you look around. There doesn't seem to be any traps, at least not in the area of the front door that you're looking at. None that are mechanical or magical.
Guys, I can't find any traps. Looks like it's clean. Do we want to go in?
Probably.
Or
You know,
not?
he or whoever did this is obviously very powerful. And probably could eradicate anyone that they choose on entry, but we are invited. So hopefully this place hasn't been co-opted by the dragon army to do their bidding instead of Dalamar's bidding, or whoever the elves might be here.
Ooh, that thing you sometimes do where I can hear your voice in my head. How far away can you do that?
I don't know, about
Did you
40 or 50 gnomes away.
try and reach out to Dalamar and see if he responds, if he's nearby, or do you have to see them?
I don't think I have to see him. It doesn't go through stone walls or, thick wooden trees and stuff like that. There's limits. And who knows if there's magical barriers on this building, but I can try. So Rue will just do that. He'll just like gesture toward the base area of the, like, beyond the door, and just cast message and think, Dalamar, are you there?
You don't get a response, which doesn't mean that he's not there, but he might not be within range of the spell. And you do see again that this tower reaches almost 80 feet in its full height.
No response, Vass, but maybe he just didn't get the message.
Well, it was worth a try, I guess.
Maybe he's ignoring me. Wouldn't be the first time people have ignored me. Certainly won't be the last.
No one wants to volunteer to go first. I can try and sneak in a little bit to see if I can see what's in the immediate vicinity inside the tower.
Sure. Would you like to roll a stealth check to sneak in?
Yeah, let's do that. Oh, I can't even see
Wow.
myself. Natural 20 plus 8.
So you are able to circumvent the slightly ajar doors to not cause them any disturbance that might cause any noises. And you enter in. And as you enter into the first chamber, which on your maps is that very bottom circle, you see that this round chamber is illuminated by white flames flickering in these magical sconces on the walls. You see in the room's center a gleaming obsidian statue of a solemn elf warrior. Around the statue's pedestal there are hundreds of silver coins lying scattered in dust. Beyond there, a staircase ascends, curving along the tower's northern wall.
I don't want to touch anything, but can I take a look at the sconces and the statue and see if I notice anything more about them than what I saw at face value? And when I approach the statue, I'll put a silver piece at the base.
Okay. So where would you like to go first? Would you like to go to the sconces or the statue first?
I'll do the sconces.
Okay. Roll for me, either investigation or arcana.
Arcana it is 19.
These are unnatural flames. They seem to be some sort of spell work. What comes to your mind is the continual flame spell.
I approach the statue and put a silver piece at the others, but don't don't touch it.
All right. So as you put a silver piece down, go ahead and roll for me a history check, please.
21.
21. During your time on Kryn, you've picked up small bits of information here and there, just as part of your travels, and you actually recognize this. This is a guardian that is common to the Sylvanesti elves and their burial sites. The silver coins represent souls shining as stars in the night skies. And with your 21, you would also know that the Sylvanesti tradition dictates that each visitor must leave a silver coin on the statue's pedestal.
Well, okay. Sorry. I'm trying to something out. Great. Well, I will walk outside and let the others know. There's so guys, there's um magical flames lighting the place. Not super surprising. There's a statue in there, and if we want to go into the tower, we're gonna have to leave a silver piece behind out of respect for
It's not one of those moving
the
statues, is
Misty
it?
elves that have passed on. It didn't move when I was in there, but I also didn't touch it. I just put a silver piece at the base in memory of the Sylvanesti elves that have passed on.
But it didn't ask you for the coin, you just gave it the coin.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of silver pieces around the base, so I figured it might be a good idea to leave one. And then as I looked at it some more, I recognized what the statue was. So when we go in, you guys will have to a silver piece at the base of the statue. I don't know what'll happen if you don't. I just know it's respectful that you do that.
Do you have a silver piece I can borrow? I gave all of mine to... Oh, I forget who I paid. Oh, I gave them all to Lavender to buy those health potions back in Hearts Hollow. My whole sack of silver coins.
Vass will hand him a silver piece he doesn't want to throw it on the pile in case it has to come from the person. So he'll hand a silver piece over to Rue.
Okay.
I'm just imagining the scene from Lilo and Stitch where it's like, "Can I borrow $5?" or however much it was, and then she's too short, and so she has to hand it back. So, Vass has left a silver coin. Rue, you have acquired a silver coin to leave. Q, do you leave a silver coin?
I don't remember if I have a silver coin or not.
We all got a bunch of silver coins from that
I mean, I
treasure
have
hoard.
silver in my pockets, so, well, like a lot of it, so does it need to be a special silver coin?
I
Doesn't
don't think
seem to
so. It
be.
just needs to be silver.
All right, I got uh over 2,000 of them, so yeah, here you go.
So, as you each place down a silver coin, and as I question our captions, um, you are. You
Hold
see it
on.
now, right? So,
Yes, okay.
uh, so there doesn't seem to be much else here besides the stairs that curve and lead upwards. Do you proceed to the next level?
Do you want to proceed through the tower altogether, or would you like the scout to go ahead? What do you guys think?
I mean, I'm pretty sneaky, so I could go with you. Plus, we've let you go off on your own a few times. Sometimes it gets a little scary. I want you to come back in one piece.
Uh, I did the first level pretty good in this tower, but I get your point.
So
So
we don't really see anything on this level besides like this sconces with flames, the statue, and the silver coins, correct?
that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Climbing the second level, heaps of rubble have fallen from this chamber's partially collapsed ceiling. You see that this room holds two stone crypts. The walls are sculpted with empty burial niches. There's a door that stands to the southeast. And here, while you're still seeing those brightly colored flames in the sconces, they're not that crisp, bright white. They still have the bright light, but now they are tinged the slightest with a green coloring.
My
And-
favorite color. No, red's my favorite color.
And as you enter in, you realize that this area is not entirely devoid of those that have fallen. But the dead here do not rest. As you see these two gaunt, spectral figures that quickly turn to you, eyes filled with malice. So we're going to roll initiative.
Why are the ghosts always grumpy?
Well,
You're welcome up.
there might...
I got a natty one.
Oh, no! There might not be
Yeah.
entirely grumpy ghosts. Might just
We
be
tie
some
then.
stuff going on. Well, Vass has the higher modifier, so he'll go.
That's the
Yeah, but
hilarious
he
part.
won. Does
Oh,
the highest modifier count if one of the people got a natural one?
yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Hugh got a 6? Oh my god. We got 20 total, team. That
Damn.
means we all go
Um.
first at the same time.
Uh. Damn, we got another tie. And just need to check something here real quick. Um. But Vass is gonna go first.
With a 7.
With a nat 1.
Okay, so if on the map here, where are the two ghosts?
So if you are looking at the map, that is.
So we came up the north stairs.
Hmm.
Alright, so let me look at the map here. So you came up the northern side, so you'd be standing right next to that sort of boulder, not quite at the crypts. Right in the center, closer to the crypts, is where the two figures are. So they have this line of sight onto you, but are not quite there. If you're in like the direct center, they'd be 4 spaces up from the bottom, give or take.
Okay. I will use my action to tell them we mean no disrespect and we're not here to harm them. We'll see if that has any sort of an effect at all.
So go ahead with your action. Roll for me a persuasion check, please.
Oh, it was so close to being a natural 20, and then at the last second it rolled over. So that's a 12.
If there's an effect, it's not one that's immediate. You're trying your best here.
Great. Well then, I will use my bonus action to hide.
Okay. Roll me a stealth check, please.
I need to so. Another natural 20. I am so stealthy today.
So as Vass gives this sort of very almost heart-touching plead, there's no immediate sort of sign of it touching whatever remains in the humanity of these, or the mortality, really, of these creatures. And then hides. Disappears. No one knows where Vass is. And Drew, it's now your turn.
How does he do that? So I could obviously see that it doesn't seem to have phased these creatures, huh?
It doesn't seem like there's a response either way.
I think Rue's doubling down. Like, he's gonna like just kind of follow up with what Vast said and just be like, yeah, what he said, we're not here to cause harm to you or this place. We're just looking for someone that said that they would meet us here, Dalamar. And he's gonna like hitch his thumb like toward where Vast was and then look and be like, kind of baffled in a way, baffle-wondered, that Vast is no longer there.
Roll me a persuasion check.
That's a 5.
Still no response from the undead, it seems.
Which honestly totally fits. That's perfect.
Anything else from Rue?
I'm I'm looking around for Vass. I don't know which way he disappeared to. I don't know if Vass knows which way he disappeared to. So Rue's just kind of making sure he's right at that opening of the stairwell mouth and the wall, like right at that that gap there, in case he needs to make a break for it, like downstairs or something.
Hugh, it's your turn.
I feel like we should be fighting the ghosts, and I want to start teaming of a medieval version of Ghostbuster theme. But I also want to back up my allies and not do anything to break them. So I'm gonna ready an action to attack them if they come close, and just kind of wait, see how this persuasion thing goes.
All right, so Hugh, you're not really one for talking. You are one for fighting, but you don't want to let that brashness perhaps turn any sort of leeway that might have been made here.
Clarify, I'm very good at talking. I just don't think it's right.
Well, you might be good for it, but you're better at fighting than talking. So, we will have your action held. And then it comes to our creatures, our undead, who again have the malice in their eyes. And while they don't see Vass, they very much do see Hugh and Rue, as they become almost floating for a moment, as they don't seem to even walk on the ground, the rubble here, as they rush over to the two of you. Let me just make sure that they'll actually be able to make that distance. Oh yeah. So, as they come forward, it is going to be a 19 to hit Hugh, which will provoke your attack, your held action as well.
Okay.
But does the 19 hit first?
It does not.
Good.
And does a 16 hit?
A 16 will.
For 10 and a piercing. And 2 psychic damage.
Alright, your rapier is not magical, correct?
It is not. I was hoping to get a magic rapier by now, but it has not happened to me.
So, unfortunately, as your blade cuts through, it doesn't seem to do as much damage as you hoped. It does still take damage. And the psychic seems to take a full effect. And then, so that was your first attack out of your held ones.
Oh, do I get holding an attack?
If you have
holding an action and then attack twice?
If you're holding your action to make the attack and you have the capability of a multi-attack, you can do that. It's not like it's the opportunity attack where you only have the one.
Cool. Alright, yes, it's not a reaction, it's you have held action.
Yeah,
so
but
I assume a 19 hits.
Yep.
Or 10, which I'm assuming is actually 5 piercing damage.
That's what it seems like. But it still takes damage. So that is the two that are over there. Rue, you have one in front of you as well.
1 second.
That is a 25 to hit you, Rue.
Yeah, that definitely hits.
And as the creature flies forward, its tendrils, as it reaches out, these wisps of fabric and flesh melding together almost, cuts through you, and you feel the chill of death. That is 21 points of necrotic damage. And then I need a Constitution saving throw.
18.
You're fine. It's just the damage.
Oh yeah, I'm fine. Just 21 damage. No big deal. It's
Yeah,
all good.
don't worry. But that's it for our undead. As Vass, we come to your turn. From your vantage point, you could see the two attacks.
Okay. So I would like to pop up like a daisy from wherever I'm hiding. And I am hoping that I am within 20 to 60 feet
You most
of
definitely are.
the. Is it within 20 or over 20?
Depends.
The one,
Which one are
the
you
one, the
aiming
one
for?
on Rue.
I'm assuming you hid behind that boulder.
That's what I assumed, yeah.
So, the one that you'd be aiming for would actually be about 15 feet from you.
Okay, great. I'm going to throw my magic dagger at
Okay.
the one en route. And that's a natural 20 plus 6.
Hell yeah. And you would have
Does
had
my
advantage
sneak
technically. Not that you needed it because you
attack?
get snack attack from Rue. Um,
That's,
Snack attack.
that's my fourth natural 20, I think, this session. That's crazy. Does my sneak attack damage get
yep,
doubled as well?
that is correct.
All right, well, let me do that. Where did it go? Oh, not that one. Okay, first roll is that one, and the second one is this one.
So, we'll take the first one because the way that we do our sneak attack things, it gets the max out and then the roll. So you'll already have the base of 12 from the max out of your d6.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'll be then the 4 and then another 4 from the maxed out plus 3, so that is 11 from the impact, and then the sneak attack is 12 for 16, so that's 37 points of damage. And
From one dagger.
from one dagger. So that's your action. Do you do anything else on your turn?
I would like to take the hide action as my bonus action again.
Go ahead, roll for me a stealth roll.
Yeah, that's a 10.
You feel hidden. But we're gonna pause right here because we are actually having ads run middle of it. So we're gonna be right back. Picking up in the middle of combat. Alright, welcome back. Sorry about catching you guys in the middle of the ad, in the middle of combat, but we had a great throw there, for those of you that may have missed it, but definitely catch it in our VOD, where Vask crit against one of these undead with a dagger throw, and then attempted to hide once more. As Vass's turn comes to an end, Rue, where you couldn't see him quite before, you definitely have visuals on Vass now, but you also have the visuals of Vass's dagger that struck the back of the creature that's right in front of you. What would you like to do as it comes to your turn?
Not be next to this thing. So I can see Vass on the other side of this boulder, huh?
Yeah, you see the horns kind of sticking out.
I am going to retreat by using my bonus action to activate my little forest shroudy thing that I wear, which allows me to teleport 30 feet.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go. If I go behind the boulder, like as far as I can, back to kind of like the west northwest, will that boulder provide any sort of cover to this ghost thing?
I don't know. It's a ghost. One way to find out.
Well, maybe what I'll do is I'll kind of, I'll use my 30 feet to go southwest so that I don't put that boulder between me and the ghost at first, and then Rue is going to point at both of them and do a twin spell first level guiding bolt at both of these ghost creatures.
Ooh, heck yes.
And since I used my Forest Shroud, I get advantage on, I believe, the next attack roll I make before the end of the turn. So I'm going to use the advantage on the one that
Hold on,
rudely decided to attack me.
Let me just quickly look at things here stacking real quick.
Okay.
Alright, so that's how that reads, and then let me read this real quick. So, I will say, because of the thematics of the twin-spelled meta magic, where this is basically targeting one creature, or two creatures with one spell, essentially, I'll give you advantage on both rolls.
Ooh. I was not expecting that, but I will take that. Okay. Just know that first one's the one that gets a little extra sauce.
Shit, I don't have courage.
That's the technical term for it. Okay, so both with advantage. The first one with all the sauce. That's twin 15s for a 22.
Yeah, that'll hit.
And then the second one is 11 and a 12 for a 19.
That'll also hit.
So the first one takes, oh, that's a pretty nice roll, 16, gets radiant damage? Yeah.
It is. I need to check something here real quick.
While you're doing that, I will spend my sorcery point.
Okay, so that's fine.
Actually, do I have to spend a sorcery point for that? Guiding Bolt is, I think, an attack spell, so I don't believe I can use my meta magic to lower it down. Correct. Okay, yeah, so it's one sorcery point.
So that one's looking pretty rough.
Well, I mean, I would think he was looking pretty rough even before we did anything to him, but that's all in the eye of the beholder. And then the second one, that's a decent roll as well. That's a 17 for the second one, and there's advantage on the next attack to both of them because they're glowing with the red light of Lunitari.
Both of them have that red outline that covers them, making the next attack against them will be made at advantage. Anything else, Rue?
Absolutely, and so I used my bonus action to do the teleport. I used my action to cast my spell. Now I'm gonna move kind of like north-ish, so that like I'm basically putting Vass and the boulder between me and the one that attacked me.
Beautiful, I love it.
Sorry, Vass.
With that, Hugh, we come to your turn. You do have advantage on your first attack against this creature as it glows red with the light of Lunitari.
Alright, what does it cost me in terms of actions to toss away my rapier, my S-Talk, and draw my magic flaming longsword?
If you just drop your S-Stock, that is a free action, and the drawing of your blade I can count as part of your attack.
Okay, that's what's gonna happen here. So I do that, I cast Hunter's Mark,
Hell yeah.
and I slash with the flaming blade. 16 to hit.
A 16 most definitely hits.
Okay, that does 7 Plus, I believe there's the fire damage. I don't remember what it was.
1d4.
1d4. One fire. One psychic. And that's a magic weapon attack.
Correct. So, you notice almost a bit of a reverse this time. The blade fully takes the slashing damage and, of course, the psychic that you had noticed before, but it does seem to be slightly resistant to that fire that is added to it. But your actual attack damages do seem to be more potent now that you have a magical weapon.
Oh, and also another one, series of ones from the I forgot the Hunter's Mark damage.
Oof. Alright, and then, so that's attack number 1.
Yep, attack number 2, and this is with advantage?
The first one would have been with your advantage.
Oh.
But,
There you go.
17 still hits, for sure. Yep. Beautiful.
10. And 6 and 2. The 2 is fire.
Alright. Good to know. So this one is also starting to look pretty hurt. But still standing, still fighting. And I believe that is it for Hugh's turn, yes?
Yep.
It is our creature's go. We have the one that is fighting Hugh, reaching out, going to try and tear into you, as it had done, or at least attempted to before. But a 10 most definitely misses. Thus, as you are hiding, if you were paying attention to the battle, where would you be paying attention to? Would you be looking over the top, around the side? How would you be watching or waiting?
I think I would, if,
You can always say that you wouldn't be either. You'd be waiting until your turn.
no, I'm definitely keeping tabs on things. I was gonna say I'd be looking around the north side of the boulder, but I don't think I would have line of sight in that case. So I think I'd probably be looking around the boulder on the south side.
So, as you're looking around from the south, you would notice that you don't see the specter. And that's because when you look around, you would notice the specter is coming out of the wall of the boulder as it had moved through to come towards you. And
Lovely.
that is a 15 to hit.
That misses.
All right. You are able to avoid, even in the fact, something about your, in the moment, paranoia of where is this thing, giving you a heightened sense. And that is it for our creature's turn. Vass, it is your turn. This thing is right next to you.
Right up in my face, and I don't like that, so I'm gonna rectify that. I am going to do a little dissonant whispers, and I'm gonna mutter some infernal creepiness into this ghost's ears, head, mind. That's a wisdom 14.
It gets a 22.
Okay. Well,
That is a good roll, however, and it takes half damage.
doesn't have to run away. Yeah, doesn't have to run away.
Right, so. It looks real bad. But it's still in fighting condition.
Okay. I'm trying to determine. I'll give Q a bardic inspiration because I saw the attack on Rue and it looked pretty nasty.
Rue, we come to your turn. And, I do want to remind you that the one that's over near Vash is still glowing. So an attack roll will be made at an advantage.
That's what I was wondering, because it had to make a save. There was no attack actually made against it, huh?
Correct.
I mean, I don't have a lot of attack roll spells. I don't trust Chill Touch to work on it, because it's... Chill Touch is a spectral hand, and that thing's a specter, and I feel like that would like just be like giving him a high five, bro. Like, you know. Cool. Let's... And there's still the one on Hugh, right?
There's still the one on Hugh.
You know, can't hurt to do it all again and do another twin spell guiding bolt at both of them.
Correct. Now only one of them does have the advantage this time.
Correct. So, yeah, let's do that. Let's roll for our friend that's walking through boulders first. That's a dirty 20 to hit that one.
That will hit.
And that is fantastic damage. It's 19 radiant damage.
Okay.
And then for number 2, that is a 15 to hit.
15 hits.
And you know, that's 10 damage. I'm gonna use my I don't remember what it's called, empowered spell to reroll the 1 and the 2. So that's a 7 plus 8. That's fantastic. Cool. 15 radiant damage on that one. And they both glow red.
They don't.
They did.
They did for a moment, but the one in the boulder, Vash, you were able to see a elven spirit for just the briefest of a second, incorporeal, before it faded away quickly, almost before you could even blink. However, Hugh, the one that you were fighting, you see sort of shifts. This woman with gray hair and pale eyes floating upwards through the ceiling and out of sight. You are no longer bound by initiative.
Well, I pick up back up my sword and my S-Stock and I put it in a sheath.
I will remind you that... Yeah, easily able to do that. I will remind you that there are 2 crypts in this room as well. Those you can see on the map are down at the bottom.
Is there silver pieces near them or anything?
Why don't you go over and make me an investigation roll?
I will do that. 15.
15. There are bodies. Desiccated elven remains. You notice one seems to have a cloak that, even with the destruction around it here, seems to have lasted the time. Likely it has some magical capability to it. And the other, the robes have worn, but due to the topping of the crypt here, the stone lid, it's not too much damage, and you can see that they are white robes of a mage of high sorcery. Though they do
Is
seem...
really liking.
Go ahead. I was just going to say they seem non-magical.
Bass is really liking the look of that cloak. Can I do a vibe check to see if I'm getting any like malevolent vibes off of this?
Go ahead, roll for me an Arcana check, I'm going to say, actually.
I will do that. Ooh, that's a 24.
24. It doesn't seem to be any sort of malicious arcane tetherings here. It seems almost protective. Um, if you had to give a word to the sensation, um, it does seem that this is a magic that you'd need time to acquaint yourself with. Um,
Okay. Bass kind of shrugs and thinks to himself, well, this soul isn't using this anymore. Um,
As you're just gonna
and
take that?
well, I mean, they can't use it anymore.
I paid the silver piece.
Yeah, I was like, but the
Yeah.
statue downstairs and the silver pieces.
I've paid my respects to the deceased, and
And you,
I'm honoring the soul by continuing to do good things with this clearly magical item that was important enough to them that they were put to rest with it.
that makes sense. Rue's mind realizes like he's carrying a wand from some dead draconian thing. Hugh's wearing a shield from Ispin, and now Vass would have a cloak from some dead elf. So in some ways, it kind of all makes sense and aligns.
Mm-hmm.
Bass wants to arm himself with everything possible to ensure his survival based on his very unpleasant experiences in Barovia. So I'm going to take that cloak and I'm going to offer up a quick little prayer in my head, thanking the soul for this. I don't know, it's not really taking it, but I'll offer up a quick little prayer.
As you offer that prayer, as you take the cloak, and do you put it in your pack or do you put it on your shoulders?
I'm sorry, my headphones just screamed battery low at me and I didn't hear you.
Oh no! Are you putting the cloak in your back, or in your backpack, or are you putting it on your, are you wearing it?
No, I'm gonna put that in my backpack for now, and then when we have some downtime, I'm gonna take a closer look at it.
Sounds good. So, you saw the ghost of an elven woman ascend to the next floor. Do you pursue?
Did this ghost look anything like the ghosts of elves we've seen before? Like the, oh, I guess that wasn't a, the blue elf at the crab wasn't a ghost, but there was a blue elf in Calaman's hall chambers or whatever, the council chambers that told us to get through the door quickly. Did they have resemblance?
They seem to be a very similar. Um, the two instances you're talking about do seem to share a lot of similar features in your memory as you think back. Um, but this figure seemed gray and incorporeal. Eyes glowed with a pale light. Um,
Before we move anywhere, Bass is gonna walk up to Rue and say, "Hey, man, that hit looked kind of nasty. Do you need some healing?"
It chilled me bones. I I've never felt anything like that before. I could probably use some help.
Yeah, All right, but I'm gonna give you a second level cure wounds, and I'll do that by patting him on the shoulder. So
You
that's
probably have
gonna
to like
be
lean
16.
down to pat this shoulder. Hell yeah, that's awesome. It feels warm compared to the chill that still was lingering from that heavy hit. So we saw that this spirit went word.
I mean, the spirit floated straight through the ceiling above, but there is stairs that lead next.
We see rubble to the west and stairs to the south.
So there are, um,
What? Or actually, it's a door to the south.
let me pull that back up here. Um, so to the south, rubble blocks a staircase leading down, while to the north, another staircase case climbs to the level above. So there's two staircases, where one ends, another begins.
That's
No, I'm reading that wrong. Door stands to the southeast. Yeah. So there are. So nothing's blocking the things on this one. It just you have the rubble in the chambers partially collapsing, and the ceiling. So you could you could use the rubble that is held aloft in the air to kind of climb up. You could climb over the rubble on stairs that are here.
Oh, the rubble's floating.
Yeah, so the rubble here, that you'd seen it kind of outside, but as the tower is falling, it's kind of been stopped in time. So like all the portion of what would have fallen down in whatever catastrophe is just hanging in the air.
Does that count the rubble that is on the staircase?
Um, to a
Or is it
degree,
just
like it's just
okay?
tightly clumped together there. But there are larger chunks that kind of create almost a stepping stone effect.
But like definitely the stuff on the west is floating.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Rue would walk over to that floating rubble and find like one of the lowest pieces he can and like crawl up
Are you
onto it
kidding me?
and like hop up and down a few times like tentatively at first just to see how stable it is. Like if it
It's like stone on the ground. It doesn't shift at all.
wow. Then I'm gonna do like a little like hop off and back to the floor below. And I assume I don't float though. It's just the rubble.
It's just the rubble.
Huh. Like affects the pieces of the building, but not the people or the things inside. When they opened the crypt on the southeast that was covered,
No,
did the
it's
crypt lid like slide off and fall down to the ground, or did it float too?
No, that would have fallen to the ground.
Okay, so it's just the building. Interesting. If we look up through that hole in the floor above, or the ceiling above, can we make out anything?
There's light. It's not a lot, but there's light in the next area.
What color's that light?
Green.
More green or less green than the level we're on?
It's more green. Like right here, the level you're on, it's like the slightest tint of green in the bright light, and looking above you, the light grows dimmer and more green.
Would I know, or can I make some kind of a roll to see if I know if colors of flames have any significance in magic casting, like for the continual flame spell?
Roll me an insight check, please.
21.
It could be a sort of caster's preference at the time. It could be something to do with the strange magic that's holding all the rocks aloft. Hard to say for sure. So far, you've only really experienced with the differencing in the lights, that there were some nasty undead in this room. You don't know if that will continue as a pattern or if that was a one-off thing. It might mean that you need more information.
Right. The door at the bottom of the stairwell that goes up to the next level, is it open or closed?
Currently, it is closed. It is rusted and ironed, encrusted, but I'd say with a quick sort of jostle, you can tell that it is unlocked.
Okay.
But it might make a lot of noise.
So being able to see up to the next level, like how big of an opening in the floor, I guess, is there? Like, would it be enough for like a
Uh,
levitating tiefling to fit through?
oh, for sure. If you look at the circle above, you can see where the hole in the ceiling is. So it's massive.
Right. Can I click my heels and levitate, but just enough that I poke my head up over the next floor and just take a quick peek to see if I can see anything like that post?
Yeah. As you take a quick peek, you see that the room's shattered walls stand frozen in time here. They are hovering a heartbeat away from falling apart. The sconces are still present, but some of them are, again, sort of akimbo in this fracturing. Their fires seem to be the same size as the ones below, but again, their light is dimmer, more green tinged. There is the sizable hole that's gaping in the room's floor that you had seen from before. See, there is rubble to the south when you look around. And to the north, there is another staircase that climbs upwards to the next level. The dismal gray-green light that shines here from the sconces eerily illuminate yellowed bones fallen from the burial niches that are scattered across the floor, and you do see the elven woman's spirit here. She is trying to pick up a sword from what remains of the floor, but she is failing each time, slipping through her grasp, and she does not seem to notice you.
Heartbreaking. Okay. Now, is there enough floating rocks that I could pull myself down from levitating? Because I need to be able to hold on to something.
So
I don't
levitating,
want to fall.
you're able to move up and down at will. It's just left and right that you need to pull yourself across.
Oh, okay. I totally misunderstood that. I'm gonna descend back down and I'm gonna let the other two of my companions here know what I saw. So, how do you guys wanna tackle this?
Well, did she see you? Did she react to you?
She didn't react to me, so I don't think she noticed me. She was trying to pick up a sword though, so she might not be in the best mood when we get up there. Um, she might still have some fight in her.
Well, you should definitely wear that cloak you stole. That will really endear us to him.
The cloak is safely away in my backpack, so unless they've got X-ray vision.
What's an X-ray?
Something from Neverwinter. Don't think about it.
Yeah. Don't even worry about it, man. Favorite thing.
And she could walk through rocks. Maybe she could see through rocks too.
Oh, thank you for the raid.
Maybe you were never hiding in the first place. Maybe she knows we're here.
Lee?
So Vass floated up with levitate.
Yes.
Rue's gonna walk over and try the door, thinking that there's probably a stairwell behind that door.
Yeah. As you approach the door, you grab hold of it. The rusted iron creaks under the weight of it being moved after who knows how long. And there is a stairwell. Leads up. About halfway through, it becomes covered in that rubble, some of it hanging in the air, others just kind of crushed on the side, frozen where it's lying. But much like the rubble that you had stepped on before, you likely climb it atop it to the next floor.
Rue just like pokes his head back around the corner and just says, "There's more rubble in here too. You could probably use it as stepping stones, or you could just climb those bigger boulders over there if you want to go up." He's gonna start walking up the stairs and then
I'm
scrambling
gonna grab
up
the
the rubble.
elevator. Gus is gonna take the elevator, but he's gonna time it so that he's getting there at the same time that anyone going up the stairs would be getting there, so that
Someone can
he's
pull
not
it.
there early.
Yeah, someone can pull you across the hole.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that. But yes, the hole is very large.
So as you all make it up, you see the same. The shattered walls frozen in time. For a moment, you feel your heart beat with a tension. Like this could crumble at any time, but you know from your experience that it is sturdy. You see the hole in the floor that Avast has risen out of that leads down below. You come up the blocked staircase, some of you. You see the staircase to the north. The gray-green light, the yellowed bones, and the ghostly woman trying to pick up a sword. Failing. Over and over. Still not looking at it.
So the sword is corporeal, right? It's a physical sword.
It is a physical sword.
Rue kind of like nudges Hugh a little bit. I know you have a few swords already, but
You like swords?
maybe that one's important.
Yeah. I mean, I was just thinking how I would like a nicer sword.
Should we try talking to her again?
Sure, I'm all for that.
I would say I'm not the diplomatic one, but I'm also a charisma-based class, so I probably have some diplomacy.
Could I assist Rue to give him?
You'll have to add into the
Mhm.
conversation somehow.
Hey, why not? Rue's gonna slowly approach the ghost, which doesn't seem like it's recognizing him, and just say, "Sorry for what we did with you down there, but it looks like we might have shaken some rage out of you or cleaned you up a little bit. I'm not even sure."
She will stand now at her full height. You can see this elven figure almost in full glory as she looks down at you.
We're here to see Dalamar.
She speaks, and as she does so, you can hear almost an echo of her voice. It is hollow and distant. I do not know who you ask of. You speak of loosening anger, but I am fueled with a fury. I feel it. Perpetually. Never ending. Coming from higher above.
Were you making your way up there to try and handle this fury? Or to join it?
I don't have this. I wasn't paying attention.
I'm trying to find my sister, Tanadria. She is an elf diplomat. She disappeared from the delegation. Do you know of her? Where she's at?
We met an elven delegation, but we don't know of her specifically.
Can we tell by what she's wearing if she died a long time ago or if it's been relatively recent?
Or
Roll.
is she not wearing anything at all? Wait, did I say that out loud?
Oh my gosh. She is wearing
I'll
armor.
mute myself.
So, go ahead, roll a history check. Yes, you don't know much about the ancient histories of this place, but you definitely know about the recent fashions, and this is not a recent fashion.
Beth will lean into Rue and whisper quietly, "She might not know she passed on."
We think you've been here a long time, maybe longer than you realize.
She narrows her eyes. Explain yourself. If not, I will release all that I have as a guard of the city of Anyari.
Just make sure.
I'm just saying that we don't know how long that you've been here. We have no idea if your sister is still around as well. I know you elves live excessively long amounts of time. But I'm just saying she might not be of this world either. But maybe you could even find her in the world in the state you're in. Interesting. Yeah. Rue would explain the ghost that we saw in the council chambers in Kalaman to this one to see if there's any recognition.
I'm not familiar with this figure you describe. If you find Natria, tell her that I'm looking for her. I'm Gentida. She has missed several meetings with the delegation, especially with the catastrophe that has happened. Oh, as you need.
Not from around here. What catastrophe?
We're looking at it as she motions to the ruined building. Don't know how long these stones will last. I need to find all that I can.
You know, how they're staying aloft?
I have a natural inclination for magic, but I am no mage. I'm a swordsman. My skill is with the blade. That's why I cannot trust whatever it is that is happening. Why I must find Tanadria. And any others. Get out. The delegation must continue on to Anyari.
Because of the comments about the blade and everything, I'm feeling Q's feeling some degree of kinship with this ghost elf, and is wondering if he can reach out with his spooky senses and his Fey wandering spirit powers and like vibe with her, or like ride along with him because they're in sync or something like that as they go up to fix the problems or anything like that.
I'm going to say, Wisdom is your spellcasting ability, correct?
Yes.
Roll me just a straight wisdom check, please.
Straight wisdom. 19.
Perhaps it is the kinship that the two of you share. Perhaps there's nothing more for this creature to be tied to this realm. But as the two of you lock eyes, Hugh, Gentida begins to fade. She still has that look of determination, that almost anger that flickers behind her eyes. Whether that anger is for a dying sense of survival, a fight that was never truly ended. Whether it is that pull from above that she had mentioned early on. You see it clearly in her last moments. And you help the spirit to pass onwards. You see the...
Q finally vibes with the girl, and she immediately disappears.
Can't bring her home to the parents. You do see the sword that she had been trying to pick up where her feet once were, and you can see that it gleams. It seems perfectly edged and balanced, undeterred by any of the time or breakage of the place here. It also seems to have some magical nature. Unfortunately, it does look to be another long sword.
All right. Well, I'm gonna grab it.
Okay, you can feel that there is a sort of hum of arcane energy here. You might need some time to discern it truly, but there is almost a musicality as you hold the weapon in your hand.
Neat. I mean, it shouldn't be. In theory, should if I could find this skilled enough smith, I could try and modify one of these ones. Because the S-Clock is really just a long sword with a, well,
Don't you pokey poke instead of slashy slash?
exactly. It's a thicker, blunt blade. So In theory, it shouldn't be that hard to find someone who could modify it.
Well, you might.
Presuming, yeah.
Well, give it an hour and we'll see how you feel about things, because it might change things. Oh. Do you do anything else in this room?
I mean, it was just the ghost and the sword and some akimbo sconces, correct?
I mean, there's rubble about. You could check to see if anything else is hidden here. You didn't go through those crypts, you wouldn't have never found that really cool cloak.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it almost looks like the walls are disintegrating to the east and the west, huh? Can I go and like peek out the cracks and see if I can see like outside and stuff?
Yeah. You do see outside. You see the, through the cracks of the walls, the wasteland, the shining of the sun. It's hard to make out everything. It's not a clear path, but it seems as it should be.
If I wasn't used to climbing trees, I might be afraid of the height.
You are about 60 feet off the ground. This is true. Right?
Hmm.
So, you know,
Hunter's Mark.
the next one would be about 60 feet off. Because the ceilings are 20 feet and you're on the third floor. So
Oh shit.
you'd be closer to about 40-ish feet off the ground. Still fairly high.
Can I extend my senses somehow to see if I can pick up on the like angry vibe that the ghost was seemingly influenced by?
Um, as you try to reach out, there's threads here of some arcane nature. You can feel a magic in the air, and of course that makes sense. The walls are held, but nothing that's quite anger, nothing that's quite a distinct emotion. At least not at this level. Maybe that has something to do with the undead nature of Jintaira.
You said that there's other rubble here we could theoretically scavenge through.
Yeah?
I mean, she's a warrior and all she had was a sword here. Like, there's no other stuff of hers lying around.
You don't see anything besides there's rubble and yellowed bones. There are barrel niches that were existing along the walls that are now kind of... Yeah.
Well, we should just check it just in case there's anything interesting.
Yeah, I'm like wondering if she has any like cool rings she lost in the rubble or, you know, stuff like that.
Roll for me some investigation checks.
Cast guidance on myself first. Because I'm gonna need all the help I can get.
I'm too busy with the dancing sword,
Yeah.
or singing sword.
I got a 4.
Uh,
19.
so, as you guys are looking around, we'll say for sure, that for getting a 4, I'll give you something, Rue. You find a single onyx gemstone. It's very clear, and you could guesstimate that it could be worth hundreds. Bass, you find 5 more of these. And Hugh is busy with the sword.
How much? It's just worth hundreds.
That's with a 19. You could estimate that this would be about 200 for the ones that you found, so likely it'd be about the same for Ruse.
Additive
Okay.
gem pouch.
200 each, by the way. So
Okay. I'll disperse them out. I'll give Rue a second one and I'll give you 2 so that we each have 2.
So I'm guessing there
all right.
This remind me of New Atari in some way. Now I just need to find some that remind me of Lunatari. Rue like pulls out some moonstones that he had in his pouch already. Kind of has moonstones in one hand and onyx in the other hand. Although I guess I have my little spell focus that's like the red gem.
Yeah.
I don't have enough hands to pull that out. You know what? I could pull it out with Mage Hand if I really cared.
You have some carnelians or something?
You had one.
I put it in the floor at Hearts Hollow.
Put it in the mosaic.
All right.
And
Right.
they put it off
Right.
to this side.
Are there bloodstones? Are they red?
Bloodstones have red flecks inside of them.
Okay.
That carnelian went to good home. I'm glad that I left it at Hearts Hollow.
So
But we found these onyx gemstones, and this like building isn't made from onyx, so this is just like
they were
came here some other
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you wish to ascend and investigate further?
I feel ascension worthy.
Is there a door to this
There
next stairwell?
there are stairs that lead upwards. They don't seem to have a door at the front. You can just walk up.
I'm going up stealthily if I'm going up, or when I'm going. I'm not going up first.
Okay, roll me a stealth check. And we will return with you all at the top of the stairs after our upcoming ad break, which is starting very soon. So please stick around with us. Ads are very helpful to us here at Little Witch RP. They help keep our games affordable. But if you want to help us out more directly, we do have a Ko-fi. Link for that is on screen. Ko-fi donations not just support us here, but they also unlock awesome perks for our entire community. Details for that are all on our Discord, so check us out there. Stick tight. We'll be right back to continue our story. Alright, we're back. And as we return, you were heading up the stairs, through doing so stealthily. There is another door. This one is at the top of the stairs, not at the bottom. Iron, rusted. But whoever is at the front, whether it be Hugh or Vax, can tell easily that it is unlocked, like the others. Do you open it and proceed? As it creaks open, you find yourselves once again opening into a room that is dimly lit. This door brings you to a room hovering in a starless night sky. The floor is stable here. There are, however, shattered wall fragments floating in the air. The sconces here glowing even more dim, this faint, sickly green light. And beyond the broken walls, you see an endless black expanse. You see across the platform stands a stone archway sculpted with sharp runes and the heads of 5 dragons. Within the arch swirls dense gray mist.
Who has that little thingy from way back at the beginning of the campaign that had I don't know if it had actual dragons on it, but it had the 5 colors of the chromatic dragons. We found it on some kind of dragon army person, I think.
I don't know if you have the actual iconography, but you have seen it. If you would like to, utilizing that knowledge, make an Arcana check here.
Natty 1.
And 5 dragon heads.
Nicole, Arcana check.
From one extreme to another. Um,
Cool, dragons.
yeah, so 5 dragon heads, 5 dragon points, 5 dragon armies. Who knows what's going on here? It's a lot and maybe too much for a coincidence. Hugh, however, you're taking a little bit more of a closer eye to it. The dragon heads aren't of different dragons. I mean, yes, they're different dragons individually, but they aren't different types. They all seem to be that of green dragons. And as you get closer, you're able to look at the runes, and they relate to the natural magics of the Feywild. And with a natural 20, you notice that the runes can actually rotate. Perhaps likely as means of controlling this portal, though the functionality, even to your more keen eye, is unclear.
I have kind of affinity for this because of the Feywild, and I'm a Fey guy. That thing. That's probably why I got the critical.
Story dice.
Story dice.
We love it.
Okay, so can I figure out? Is there some kind of functionality here I can figure out how to use this?
It's unclear to you. This is old magic, and even with your affinity for the Feywilds, this is nothing like what Aaron Burke ever showed you or shared with you.
Rue, you got anything? You're a bit more arcane. You know anything about the high magic?
I mean, I do like green.
Not sure what I was expecting there, but okay.
I mean, I investigated with the Arcana with a 3, so I'm assuming
Okay.
that I don't get much more than what Vass got out of this.
Great and terrible Fey power that we do not understand.
While these guys are chatting fast, ever weary of strange portals has found a piece of rubble and just has gone to sit down on it with his elbows on his knees.
Okay. I'm feeling bold and willingness to go through the portal, even if my bardic friend is less keen. He survived his venture to another plane. I'm sure I'd be fine.
Bass has a pained look on his face.
Are you really thinking about going through there, Hugh?
As you are asking,
I am thinking about going through it. It's kind of calling to me.
as Hugh gives this answer, can I get perception checks from everybody?
Oh, oh, sorry.
Oh my god, I got loaded dice. 28.
Vass had them earlier. So Hugh, even though something already seemed to be calling to you, you notice something else. There seems to be the outline of a person in the mists beyond the archway, in that gray area between. As if there's someone on the other side waiting.
Hello!
No response comes to you from through the portal, but you do see that there is perhaps someone on the other side.
Alright. I step through the portal to go talk to this guy. I'm feeling bold and confident in my choices.
So as Hugh steps through the portal, we'll come to that in a moment. Rue! Vass! What do you do?
This is staying sitting on his piece of rubble. Someone's got to stay here in case they don't come back. We have obligations.
Did Hugh announce
He
there
answered.
was?
He didn't tell you that he saw someone, but he did answer your question of he felt like he was being called to go in, and then he just stepped in.
Can I turn? I think Rue would have been looking kind of at the portal a little bit with his 3 Arcana. And he would shoot a glance back at Vass and sees that Vass clearly has no intention of getting up and moving anywhere near this portal. And then I think Rue would look back toward the portal to see if he can make out anything about what Hugh was talking about.
With a 9, I'll say you see some vaguely humanoid shape in the mist. You don't know if that is Hugh or something else.
Vass, there is someone or something there. I assume it's Hugh?
Maybe he's the guy we came here looking for. Maybe it's a dragon army person. We have no way of knowing.
Well, there's none of them out here, and there's potentially one of them in there. And so if I go in with Hugh, that makes 2 versus 1, and I like those odds. If Rue's gonna step through following after Hugh.
We'll come to that in a moment. Vass, you are alone in a tower with a strange portal. And you see the vaguely humanoid shape in the midst. This one a little smaller.
But I only see one. I don't see three.
Not with an 8.
There. Vass is just sitting there, half frozen, riddled with anxiety and concern for his friends.
Vass, how long are you willing to wait outside of the portal?
Oh, that's such a hard question. 10 minutes.
10 minutes. I'll make a note of that. And what is your plan after 10 minutes?
Vass is very conflicted. He really, really, really doesn't want to go in there. He doesn't want anything bad. to have to his friend. So I think the whole time for the full 10 minutes, he's like, I'm just gonna sit here. I'll sit here as long as it takes, until it seems like they're not coming back anymore, and then I'll be going on my way. But I think once it hits the 10-minute mark, he's gonna be so upset that he's just gonna be like, Asmodeus saved me, and just go in the portal at the 10-minute mark.
Okay. So, I'll let you know when the 10-minute mark happens. Uh, on the inside, however, as Hugh and Rue step through, you find yourselves atop a broken tower of jet black stone, standing in a barren and unfamiliar landscape. There are jagged peaks of colorless rock that stretch for miles, and around you the wind howls mournfully. Behind you, faint light shines from an identical version of the stone archway that you passed through. And it is the brightest light that is here. Everything else seems to be consumed. And even in the darkness of this space, there's this ambient grayness that almost functions as a dim lighting. There's an elven spirit here that greets you, Hugh and Rue.
Ahoy!
Welcome. I am Varial. I am the
One was right.
I am the caretaker of Wakenwrath.
Greetings. I am Hugh de Ver, a human traveler, an adventurer. Sorry, what did you say the name of this place was?
Wakenwrath.
Bacon. Neat.
It is elven. It
I
means...
surmised.
Yes.
I met an elven warrior princess while I'm on my way here. Would you know her?
Perhaps at one point I may have. But... as much as a crypt for the elves of Anyari, Wakenwrath has become the burial site of many.
Oh, that is tragic.
It fell from the sky, breaking from its foundations and toppling to the ground. I attempted to use the magics of this building to bring it to the Feywild. But with the displacement of the tower, magic had gone awry. And we ended up quite in its opposite. Life traded for death. And the House of Silence, well and truly kept. The portal has corrupted any of those who rested within or found themselves trapped. And the site is now held in this state that you have seen it.
Is there anything I can do to help? I am a wanderer of the Fae. My responsibility.
I would ask for you to sever the link that holds Wakenwrath for the Shadowfell. It is only accomplished from the side of the portal that is connected to the realm of the living. And unfortunately, I am unable to reach that side once again.
Can you teach me the ritual or magical process? I'm not sure how you term it.
I can teach you all that you need to know. And as he's saying this, about 10 minutes have gone by. So, screw it. You've gone through one, you can go through another. This time at least you know you're doing it. And you walk through those mists. So similar to the ones that came upon you before, but so different at the same time. And you see Hugh and Rue, not in any sort of terrible agony, talking to a ghost.
Oh, hey, Bass. Meet my new friend, Variel.
And as you're being introduced to Variel, just beyond the spirit, you can see a claw reach the top and begin to pull itself up over top of the tower. And I think a singular claw and some anticipation is a perfect place for us to stop this session this evening.
I get to fight something fayish and evil in the world beyond. This is the best adventure ever.
Anything that's friendly.
We'll find
Not
out.
everything with claws is angry.
We'll find
I'll
out
get a Shadowfell shard.
next session. So, thank you to our players for playing. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you to our viewers for viewing. I hope you guys enjoyed this as well. Catch us for our next session next week. Potentially fighting something big and scary. Potentially having a cuddle buddy with claws. Who knows? But we'll find out for sure in our next session. Until then, head over to wildwitch.com. Check us out there. Join us in our Discord to jump into a game yourself. Keep up to date with all of our announcements. And of course, as always, may the ever-burning light forever guide your steps. Laters.